Geezers are not the only thing to have come out of Iceland. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome an Icelandic footballing dynasty. The Gudjohnsens! Eidur is Iceland's most famous export. He's seen as the David Beckham of his homeland, and ever since he can remember, all he's wanted to do is play football.
No questions asked. I was determined from when I can remember, really.
His father Arnor was one of the first Icelanders to ply his trade abroad. He also spearheaded the Icelandic attack. Like father, like son, the two have a lot in common.
It was in 1978. I was starting to play with the first team here in Iceland. There were a few foreign trainers from Europe who actually spoke to me and asked me if I wanted to be a professional. Of course I would, and I think they tipped some teams off in Belgium.
Arnor left the barren landscapes of Iceland at the age of just 16. A career spanning 2 decades, he played in 3 different countries before moving back home.
I didn't know anything about professional football, and just a young kid coming from Iceland, never played on grass actually, only played on gravel before I went out to Europe. So the main difference was, of course, the trainings and playing football the whole year, you know. Here you can play football for 5 months, and of course it was a big change for me. But I must say that my biggest years were in Anderlecht. I played there for 7 years. I had my ups and downs. I got big injuries. I got success and everything. So I think the whole time with Anderlecht was top of my career.
And it didn't take long for his son's career to start. Age 15, Eidur made his debut for local side Valur.
It was the manager's decision, really, to put me in for a few friendlies at such a young age, and I did quite well. I came on in the first game and got a couple of goals, and I was quite big for my age, very mature physically. Maybe that's one of the main reasons that I could cope with it, because of how tall and how strong I was.
PSV soon came calling. It was a move he simply couldn't turn down.
I think he is the youngest player who has ever played in the first team here in Iceland. He was only 15, and everybody saw that he was a big talent, and of course I did encourage him to go abroad, and I was a little bit involved in that also. Went to PSV in Holland, and of course he had the possibility, if he had wanted to go to school also there, but I think his mind was only on football.
It's funny, when I speak to my dad, he always seems to know what sort of mood I'm in, because he went through all the same phases himself. He had injury problems. He moved abroad when he was young. He knows what football is about, and what kind of feelings come with it when you're young and away from your family. So he kept in touch for. We spoke daily, really. For the first period that I was in Holland. Obviously, after I settled in a bit, I think he felt more relaxed as well.
The similarities between the two are uncanny. People often mistake them for brothers. But how do they match up where it really matters, on the pitch?
I think we're slightly different. He was more powerful. I think he had a bit more pace than me. I think my control of the ball might be, my close control might be slightly better than his was. I saw him as more of a midfielder or a winger, and I'm more of a centre forward.
He has more technique than I have. He's bigger. I think I was more the explosive player.
Like Arnor, Eidur suffered a career-threatening injury. Having just broken into the PSV first team, he fractured his ankle while playing for Iceland under-18s. Luckily for Eidur, he could turn to his father for help.
You constantly try to give him advice. I mean, even though you're a football player, you have to live your life, and you know there are ups and downs in your personal life. And I have been going through a lot and trying to help him to avoid problems and everything. But of course, everybody has his own life, and and has to deal with it for himself. You almost want to be there, you know, and warn him about things that can happen, because his star, we could say, arose very quickly. And of course, many people want to know you and be with you and give you advices, and being in a sport like you're always a little bit vulnerable.
Before Eidur's horrific injury, the pair were able to make footballing history.
I said in an interview in I think it was 1986 that it was my dream to play with him in the national team.
And ever since then, the chance grew and grew.
We were chosen for one game in Estonia.
It became much more of a reality than dream, really.
I started and he came in and I went off.
And we got close.
One career ending, another starting. For the first time in international football, a son came on for his father.
Of course, it was very special to I had been in the national team almost for 18 years. Suddenly my son was at the hotel with me in the room, you know. Strange feeling, but very nice.
Very strange. It's very different to sit in the dressing room and having your father there as well, getting changed. It was a great experience, but I think as well it's been one of my biggest regrets in certainly my footballing career, that we never actually played together or were on the pitch at the same time.
Only advice that I've given him is that when your career is over, then you can look back and say, all right, I did my best. And that's the only thing that can make you happy, I think. It's very important that you can say afterward, all right, I did my 100% best, and that's it.